7.
Isn't it your lucky number as well?
It is my lucky number, yeah. Which is good because we've got belter guests on who would happily get into them as well. Yeah. But before we get started, we've got a sponsor this week again. So Clean Cut Kicks is a shoe cleaning and restoration service in Liverpool. We'll put the Instagram in the bio as always, and he sponsored this week's episode. And you've actually done.
I had a pair of New Balance, and they're probably my favourite shoes ever.
Yeah,
I reckon they might be. And obviously I got my wear out of them, playing footy in them and everything. They were ruined.
A few raves.
Yeah, raves, everything you name it. I was going to, and he done a job on them, and
I'll put a picture of them.
I'll put a picture. They were ready for the bin, and he restored them to the former glory.
Yeah. So yeah, if you need any shoes cleaning, then get on them. Yeah, Clean Cut Kicks. But today's guest anyway, we've got Kev Morland and Jill Watkins from An AHFO Others.
Hello there.
It's all right.
Yeah, good. Yeah.
Thank you first of all. Thank you very much for coming on.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
Been looking forward to it for weeks.
Thanks for asking us as well.
How are you?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah,
good.
we're fine. Yeah.
Have that. It's going to be better when you crack an ale.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here holding it while you're
warming it up.
Yeah, keeping it warm.
We're back on the handyman though. As I said last week, get it if you can. All brewed in the store, really nice ale.
Had a pint before, didn't we?
Bit of this, they've got everything as well. They've got gin, bitters, they've got all sorts and everything there, do you know what I mean?
Made the right choice there.
All you want on a nice hot summer's day.
It is hot today, isn't it?
Yeah, it's boiling.
Cheers, everyone.
Cheers. Yeah. Cheers. I can't get round the mics, can we? Cheers. And we're off.
Slanger.
So yeah, An AHFO Others then. So a local charity based in Liverpool. And we just thought start at the start. Always a good place to start, isn't it? So how it come about, how the charity come about, first of all. What it's about and what you do, yeah.
The charity came about, it wasn't meant to be a charity, it was just an idea that I had in 2013 it was. I basically, I just sort of, I was in that stage when you're complaining on social media about the world and like seeing so much wrong and seeing the city and so many people struggling and people seem to be turning on each other, and I was constantly getting me down, and I was thinking, wouldn't it be lovely if like we just lived somewhere where everyone helped each other and like the world was like this, everyone's skipping round helping each other and just like being nice
like
to each other.
Like a utopia thing.
Yeah. And then I thought, but I remember just thinking dead deeply, I was thinking, how's that going to happen now? That's not going to happen, is it? For the only way that happens is if I start living that way and doing sort of something to help, to give back. And then I'd worked I'd done all sorts of different jobs as well. I was a painter and decorator, I'd worked in factories, and it wasn't me, do you know what I mean? It just wasn't my purpose in life. I always knew I had a purpose and stuff. But then I'd worked in kids' homes and things like that, and I just loved helping people. That was where I found my passion. I remember lying there in bed one day and thought, the world's not going to change if I don't change. What can I do? And then it was just like I jumped out of bed and went, oh my God, I'm a painter and decorator. That's a skill I've got in my past. I can paint and decorate a kid's bedroom who's living in poverty, or an elderly person who's isolated or who's living in poor conditions. A bit of my time, a bit of my skill, I can give back free, and that's my little bit in the community. And I sort of thought, like I say, I didn't think I was going to create a charity or an organisation. I just thought, oh my God, when I put this out there, everyone's going to go, oh yeah, like I'm a taxi driver, I'm going to go and do this, or I'm a joiner, I'll do this. But sort of what happened was everyone sort of started saying to me, oh, that's a boss idea, that, Kev. What do you want me to do? And I was like, I don't know what I want you to do. And, cut a long story short, over the years, I'd met Jill then, and when did I meet you? About 2014, wasn't it?
Yeah, 3 months after the idea.
Yeah. And Jill just loved the idea, and Jill's like, she's an accountant, but she's got like a real good business mind and stuff like that. I just wanted to jump through like walls and just start painting houses and helping everyone and like creating this world. But Jill sort of said, Kev, hang on a minute, it's not as simple as that, you know what I mean? So the process was long, it was hard. We slogged, haven't we, for years? And I'll go more into detail in a bit and stuff, but that was like the initial idea, where it came from. And Jill coming on board, it probably just still been an idea, to be honest, if I wouldn't have met Jill.
Yeah, I think it's only because obviously I fell in love with him as well, so I loved it as well. I love what An AHFO Others was about. I'd gone through like some things in my past when like Laurie was a baby and stuff, so I'd struggled and I knew the hardship of what some girls were going through, and I always wanted to give back through domestic violence and stuff. And then when he told me the idea, when I met you, I was like, oh my God, I've always wanted to do something, but I didn't know what it was, but I just thought it was the domestic violence route. And so I loved it. I loved him as well, so I just obviously clung to it, and obviously we'd go.
You're gonna put some music over that.
Anyway, so yeah, I just obviously went with the idea, and then I just obviously went to work for daytime, and then we'd come home, wouldn't we, for night time, and it'd be like, we've got this idea, where do we go from? And we'd be phoning the council, wouldn't we, from like the pub on Chilwell 5 Ways, just saying, we've got an idea, causing out for others, thinking that they go, oh yeah,
that's great, come in.
I just thought it was just gonna, the day after it was just gonna change, and I was getting mates saying to me like, oh Kevin, that's a boss idea, I'll help you paint. I was saying, you're not getting near a paintbrush, mate, you're in my house. So,
did everyone just think it was like a painting charity?
Sort of, and then that was when I sort of said, when my mates, when I started saying to them like, look, you're not a painter, so I'm not going to just take people into people's houses and splashing paint everywhere all over the carpet and that. So then it started, didn't it? At the start, it was like, some of my mates said, oh, well, if I can get tickets for the match, I'll give you tickets for the match to give to the kids, or I'm a taxi driver, I'll give you a few hours doing that. And then
I've got a hotel. There was just, it just.
Then all of a sudden, it just took off on social media, where it was hard, wasn't it? Because we were getting a lot of people saying like, I'm a scientist, what can I do? But it's not as easy to just say, right, I'll get it. Because at the same time, we were building it and trying to get the contacts with the schools and the organisations and things like that.
Yeah, I think social media had a massive impact on it as well, because I think people thought we were probably bigger than what we were. There was only me and Kevin in our bedrooms of a night, after work, or in the front room, just like thinking of ideas and stuff. But people loved the idea and the concept. They all thought that we had a big organisation going, oh yeah, we've got all of this, and we did have it, but we just didn't have the resource to put it into a platform that we wanted. So
that's the beauty of a big idea, though. People think it's bigger than it is. Like, it's because it's that good. People are like, oh yeah, like a niche. Do you know what I mean? Like, why isn't
it was and I think, and then obviously because of the following that we got over the years, because it was 6 years ago. So the first 2 years, the following, and then again with our commitment to it. That's how it ended up growing, wasn't it? Like so to where it is today.
And I think that's what it was. People love the idea because every single person's got something that they can do. And it doesn't mean that if you've got a skill, if you're a painter or if you're a joiner, at the end of the day, a better community comes from being kind, being respectful. Not judging somebody when somebody's got a different opinion than you, or they look different than you. Don't judge them. That's giving something back, isn't it? That's like all as you're doing is changing yourself the way you are, and then your world will reflect that. There's just, like I say, it's not always just about running around doing this. It's just about looking at your own actions and the way you're being in your community and society, and just being a little bit different, and just thinking before you say something, or before you start, like, the kids are like in this city ripping each other, and I'm always saying to Eileen, look, just be nice, just be respectful. It's just getting it into the kids' mindset, just to look at things differently.
And I think as well, when I first met Kev, obviously we all had a community group where we lived locally and stuff, and we all went to them as kids. But like when we started an hour for others, like I had to go home to my mum, and that we'd all be sitting there and we'd be like, oh yeah, we're thinking about it, it's called an hour for others, and they'd just be like, oh yeah, that's lovely. But now when you look at Instagram 5 years later, everyone is doing kindness. It's just become the norm. I'm not saying it's through us, because there's loads of other organisations out there that have created whatever's happening, but when you look at Instagram and whatever now, even especially over COVID, how many people have come together. It's just like, I mean,
it's amazing. It's the new cool, isn't it? It's cool to be kind.
Together we are strong. So and you look around now and you think, wow, like when I work as an accountant, you go to work, you do your job, you go to the bars and whatever, then you go home. Now you're seeing, as you say, a lot of people doing that kind of thing, and it's lovely.
I've always said we're not separate human beings. We're just the same collective energy, the same consciousness. And you could have an idea, which could be a good idea, and you'll be speaking to someone a few weeks later, and they'll say exactly the same thing as what you've said. Everybody's linked with each other, and when you start when you start sort of having good ideas, having nice ideas, being nice, people pick up on it.
Yeah.
You know, your circle of friends, if you change the way you are, you know, like my circle of friends got like 100, 150 in my circle, and your family, they start seeing you acting that way, then they start to act that way, and then their 100 friends start to act that way, and then all of a sudden, from one person, there's 10,000 people then, and then every one of them 10,000 people, another 10,000, and before you know it, from one person, you're talking about the whole world. And I do genuinely believe, and I've said from day one, I'm going to change the world, not just me, but people. The idea could change the world, and why not?
Yeah.
Who are we waiting for to change the world?
Someone's got to, haven't they? Do you know what I
No
mean?
one's going to come to us and go, here's a magic wand, your world, here's the little world you want to know.
Yeah.
We've got the magic wand inside there in our hearts, and we're going to change the world.
100%, yeah.
Simple
It's
as.
that old cliche, innit? Be the change you want to see. Do you know what I
Exactly.
mean? Like,
The
if you're not
world
happy with
reflection.
something, change it. Yeah.
I always say, when I was like 18, I was away with the mixer and all that, and I used to think, when I look back at being 18, I think, wasn't everyone horrible then? In them days, they were all horrible, all that. I think, was that just because, like, it was me?
Yeah.
And, like, I was getting the reflection back on the way I was.
Defo,
but now I look at people, everyone's nice, but it's because it's a reflection of how you are. So, it's all about, if you could have two people, and one could have this mindset of, like, everything's bad, the world's against them, so they wake up in the morning, it's teeming down. Next minute, that's the end of the world because it's raining.
Yeah.
Somebody else wakes up and they're just happy that they woke up, and they're buzzing. Next minute, they don't even notice the traffic that they're in, but the other person, it's the worst day again because they're stuck in traffic. It's all up there.
And they've got the tunes on singing, and they're thinking, oh, where?
Yeah. And then at the end of the day, one could go home and say, I had a great day there. And the other one could go home and just like, that was the worst day ever.
Yeah.
And yet, like, we not like people who are blind, or young kids who can't walk, and they just wish to wake up in the morning to be able to walk or to be able to see. If they could just have that, that'd be the best day of their life. And we just take so many small things for granted,
100%.
and we just fight with each other and argue. Let's just stop it.
Yeah.
That's all that's gone. It's all in the past. All that. It's about being nice now.
So what do you say the main sort of, obviously you're saying the message you want to make it well, what's the main message you say you could give for the charity, for other people to sort of take on board?
I mean, basically what I'm saying, it's everybody seems to be experts and on social media moaning about stuff, and somebody has an idea and it's like, oh, that'll never. The amount of people who've said to me when I've said I'm going to change the world, or we can change the world, you'll never change that. But what they're saying is they're not willing to change.
Yeah.
That's all they're saying. It can change, of course it can change, but it starts inside there, inside every one of us. If you just start looking at the world differently, you start to like look at people as not being against you and the world not being against you, all of a sudden they won't be. Things like that just drift away out of your life, and you don't notice
you're
things.
focused on something else.
If you wanted to go out and find things to pick fault at any day, you could do, couldn't you?
Yeah.
When the traffic light goes from amber to red, you could just let that like do your head in, couldn't you? But is that the traffic light that's doing that, or is that you that's doing that?
You're just
It's
unhappy
you.
anyway. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
It's you.
100%.
Do you know what I mean?
I just think you've got to be conscious of everybody else's situation as well. I don't think everybody, especially through the charity and that, you've seen some of the lives that some of the families are living, and they're in the third generation of unemployment, drug abuse, alcohol abuse. You've got to get to that. Then, I mean, my aim as well, obviously the charity's aim, it's to get to the kids.
Yeah.
Because it's at the end of the day, they're living in a and it's not even the parents' fault neither. It's obviously they've grew up in that situation as well. So it's just a cycle. You've got to break that cycle. That cycle's becoming bigger and bigger because you're already in your third generation of it. So for the charity,
and it's the norm then, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's
it's
just
the norm.
It's
the norm, and then it's the norm not to work, and then it's the norm just to take. And we've got to start.
We've all got to take responsibility. I always say that the weakest member of your community, you're only as strong as the weakest member.
100%. Yeah.
Because it's all right. You might say, "Oh yeah, my life's good. I don't have to worry," but you do have to worry about that, because that negativity is having an effect on the community, and we should be looking after people, and we should be supporting them and helping them, and trying to inspire them to to do better. And it's every single person's got a responsibility, and then before you know it, things will start to change, and then the change comes from down and goes up. We always seem to be waiting for the change to come from sort of up, if you like, to come down, but it's not. And it's like I say, your worlds collide. You know, kids from different families meet in town and stuff like that, and it's up to all of us to just be respectful and show each other that we care.
Do a prevention rather than be reactive.
Prevention's better than cure.
Prevention's better than cure. So obviously, instead of us just being like blind to what's going on, like let's just be mindful of maybe that's why they are like that as well.
I think it's a lot of it's about being empathic. A lot of people haven't got empathy. You know, if you see someone in the street, they don't look at them as like somebody else's kid. You know, like I've seen in one of the shops a couple of months ago, a young lad who was behind the till, and he was serving and that, and he was a bit slow putting the food through, so like he was panicking, and you could see the queue all getting. And I was thinking, that poor lad, someone's like son, he's probably the same age as your son, and how would you feel? You know, he could go home to his mum, and like his mum could see him just upset, and
you don't know what's going on in his home life.
You don't know what's going on in his life. So it's like everybody needs to think that every single person walking on the streets of Liverpool is going through some sort of, you know, it's with the charity, isn't it? The people who we meet, you know, it's like dads who've been left with like 3 young daughters whose wife's died of cancer suddenly, and their lives are being, and these are people who walk in the middle of us, and you know, you don't know what's going through people's lives, so it's just about being kind, being respectful, being a bit empathic, and you know, just looking after, caring about each other.
100%, because you've got a choice. You can be kind or you can be not kind. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And why not? You can choose that. Why not just be nice?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It's easy. It's easy to not be kind. That's the easy route. Is just be ignorant and hard faced and kind of like, and you. When you're younger, it costs nothing. Yeah, but when people see kindness as a weakness, don't they? And like, it's the opposite. So true, innit? It takes strength as an individual to be kind.
It does.
I think so.
I think that not just this city, but like the world in general, like our culture, like sort of slagging someone off or like having a go at someone or ripping your mate comes easier to us, doesn't it, than saying
complimenting
God, you look really nice. Well, you know, we'll just rip each other, won't we?
That's a bad thing, though. That's a bad thing.
No, but what I mean is, I don't just mean it at that. It's with anything. It's like someone posts something on social media, and the first thought in people's heads is to like
negativity.
And it's like. So we've got to get out of that cycle. So it's, you know, and like you've just said there, kindness is powerful. It's like the easiest thing to do, and I've done it myself when I was young, and that is to you're sort of in this crowd, and it's easier just to do what they're doing. You don't want to stick. I mean, even when you grow up, and I remember when I first had this idea, some of my mates were saying Kevin Morland's lost the plot there. He's talking about kindness. And then like a couple of years later, the same lads are running around to our house like with a load of baby stuff to give to some families, and it once you start doing that and other people start getting involved, and I can see it now. All of a sudden, kindness isn't, you know, kindness is the way to be. Everybody's doing it, aren't they? There's loads of stuff going on.
100%. So in terms of like the charity, then, so like that's kind of how you got into it. But for like the viewers and the listeners, what's like the structure of the charity? How does it operate? Like what? How do you like have an impact? Like what you do day in, day out,
Okay, so obviously Kev's saying we're changing the world, which we are, but we have to obviously do that through a structure. So the structure, obviously our services that we offer, we do DIY SOSs for families, but then families have got to show that they're giving as well back to the community. So we don't just, we get the construction industry coming together. So, we've got it with a platform, so we're the platform, we're the middleman.
Like a hub.
So we're a hub, we're like the platform. So people come to us with their skill, and then we give it out to whatever it is, and then the services that we provide, we link the skill with the services that we provide, if that makes sense. So the construction industry come to us, painters, decorators, whatever it may be, and then we find families who are living in poverty, and then we'll go in and we'll do a bedroom up, beds and stuff like that, just so that obviously sleep deprivation is one of the biggest things for a kid going to school, their education, you know, the tired. So if we go in and just obviously sprinkle a bit of magic from other people coming together, then obviously but for the families to be able to get a DIY SOS, they have to they have to show a willingness as well to give back to the community. So
Okay.
we want to get away from
Could be learning a new skill or anything.
we want to get away from the take attitude, and it's like, right, okay, kids, yous have got this here, because some of these kids haven't got no social inclusion, because they come in from school and they've got nothing other than, you know, because the mums and dads can't afford for them to go to dancing or for football or whatever, so they get involved with the community.
So we've got, it's basically, it's, you know, we've got like dance groups going on where they give their time and you know, a placement free. So we'll get kids in there. We've got acts of kindness, which we call it, which is, that came from, obviously, you know, my mates giving the tickets for the match. We've now got someone who gets in touch with us, gives us tickets for concerts all over the country, hotel stays, caravans. Mamadou Sakho used to play for Liverpool, took a couple of families over to Disneyland Paris for us. It's just basically, people will come to us, right, I've got this to offer, and we'll
sort it out for them and give it away.
So we're just a platform of kindness, if that makes sense, and it's just like,
and then obviously the health and well-being stuff, and then we've got unity in the community as well, was one we found, that obviously so many amazing grassroots organisations in Liverpool like us, we're all working on a shoestring, and I've always said it's about working together, it's about unity as strength, and it is, it's we shouldn't be like sort of competing against each other and doing our little bits here and there. It's about us all coming together. So what we started doing was we went to like loads of grassroots organisations who've got their own centres, because we always used to think about getting our own centre, but we thought there's all these boss centres all over the city, let's just help them.
Utilise them,
So,
And they're shutting down like at the speed of light anyway.
So we were getting like businesses coming forward saying like, we've got 12 staff and stuff like that for a day, so we take them off to the community centres and decorate them or clean them or
the gardening and stuff.
Getting like winter clothes for them, for the kids and stuff.
So it's obviously where they're financially strained, we're not from a painting or whatever, because the funds, and we can come in and the companies will meet their CSR, which is corporate social responsibility.
That's great though, because that's like a lot of people, I know myself, like I've got mates who want to give, like, because I've been involved with Paper Cup for a while. It's like, I want to do something, but I don't even know where to start. And I was telling my mate last night about coming on here, and he's a joiner, and he was like, I didn't know that's what, because he knew what the charity was. He was like, is that what it is? I'll give up a few hours. I don't know.
Exactly.
Like, people don't know how they can help, and that's what's great about this. It's like,
it's so open. It's so like everybody can get involved. So whether you've got a football ticket, or whether you've got a joiner, or whether you're an accountant, you can come in and teach people money skills. And
like I say, even if you're just on the street and you just do something nice on the street, just start spreading a bit of kindness there. Do you know?
But from our organisation, that's how we manage it, if that makes sense. We are the platform, so we have a group, we've got 5 of us, is there, in the office, and we literally, it's like a call centre every day, just like, and then over COVID, we had to change everything, so because of either, obviously, because we do it on a shoestring, so because I'm an accountant and stuff, I've been able to look at like the cash flow, the budgeting, and make sure that like we've got a gala coming up there and stuff to be able to sustain us, because we've never really gone for big funds, and because we've never had the time to do it, and luckily we've had people behind us who've either worked for like you know, minimum wage, but they've put like the hours in, and you know, it's just been it's been really good for the people that we've got working for us. So when COVID came, it was like we were due to have our gala in April 2020, and that's our biggest financial sustainability throughout the year. So I was like, well, what do we do? Do we like make them furloughed or but we decided not to, and we just said, right, okay, if whatever we've got runs out, it runs out. We can't sit back over this time.
When you needed most, innit?
When we needed most, So what we done, we done food parcels each week. So we went to 3, 4, 5 different local businesses, didn't we? Grassroots businesses, and we got fresh fruit, fresh meat, grocery foods, put them in packs and sent them round to families.
It was dead important for us to. We wanted to help. We were getting donated money to like help people. So we, instead of going to the big major stores and spending the money there, we thought we can help the local businesses as well. So we're helping local fruit and veg stores, local butchers, local bakers. I think it was about £25,000 went out to them, didn't it? So we're doing really like boss like food parcels for it. How many people's about?
I think we've done over the time.
Still don't want to die. We're still doing them, aren't we? We're not as many as what we're doing.
No, we've done families and elderly, so I think we've done for per person. People, we've probably helped about nearly 3,500 people over the COVID.
Yeah.
We've got volunteers, so the volunteers have all done the deliveries, so then the girls obviously had to deal with that. I think we've had about 250 volunteers going around all the time, each week, delivering the foods. We had activity packs. We had health and wellbeing virtual courses online. So
phone line for the elderly.
Phone line for the elderly, which was all run by the volunteers. Obviously, the girls just had to administer it in the office.
I just think if there was ever a city that was going to be prepared for something like this, it was this city. It was just literally just like, just day one, it was just everyone.
Kind of city in the world.
It was. It was just.
It was.
And the thing is, obviously, people were furloughed and stuff, so all of a sudden we had like 250, 300 volunteers, right? Not in work, what do you want me to do?
And it was lovely being able to just, because we always get loads of people saying we want to do this, we want to do that, but because it never really matched the services that we had on at the time, we always say, oh, we haven't really got much for you right now, but we'll get back to you. But with the COVID, it was like, would you want to drive to the old person? Do you want to speak to an old person on the phone? Do you want to do this? Do you want to go and help a family with like Easter eggs? It was just lovely, wasn't it? It was like an hour for others really in action. Just everyone just like coming out.
And then obviously all the other community
effort.
groups we work with, they were all getting in touch, we were all working together. We set up a WhatsApp group. Everyone was just, if we couldn't help, someone else would be able to help. It was good, wasn't it?
That's the purest form of charity though, is like giving back to your community, but everyone from that community giving back to the community.
Of course, that's what it's got to be. No ego, it's got to just be. You've got to be in it for the right reasons.
You're all part of a community. We're all part of a community. The community isn't separate from you. Do you know, when you talk about it, it's everybody.
It has an effect on you, doesn't it? No matter where you live.
It's like you go anywhere on holiday and like you can't get away from Scousers, can you? But you meet someone from Liverpool and it's like, oh yeah, we're Scousers. But it's like, that's great, but do you feel that way when you're back at home and someone needs your help? Do you know what I mean? Are you best mates then? Probably not. Do you know what I mean?
And that's where we've got to like think.
That's where you got to. But that's what's great about this, is like the idea. It is it's unique. I've never heard of anything like it before, and it helps a lot of people on the services side, people who need help, but also the people who want to help but don't even know where to go. So it's win-win both sides.
So you're linking loads.
It's great,
And it's boss as well, because what you used to tell us, like what you want to achieve from it. You're getting that already. Do you know what I mean? You're getting already with the community. The communities are thriving. It's like people are getting involved. But the question is, like, so we asked People Cup a similar question. What can people do more to help you, sort of, in a way?
The way we've gone, like we talk about the coronavirus then, so obviously like the room refurbishments and stuff we had to stop, the community centres we had to stop.
Safety and that.
So obviously we've been doing the food stuff, but the last couple of weeks we've got the health and wellbeing stuff going. Obviously the kids have been at home and stuff, and you know, in front of the computer games and everything, and it's important. I mean, we've seen how important our health is over the last few months, so we thought we're really going to focus on that now while the kids are off school. So we've got professionals from like yoga teachers, we've got pole dance, what's it called, a hoop dance, gymnastics. Gymnastics groups. I haven't done it, by the way.
Not yet.
Pole dancing.
We've got we've got footy coaching sessions going on. Boxing. We've got a Spanish class tomorrow, a fun Spanish class. So it's people with like skills sort of in the health and wellbeing sector. So they're in a timetable now which is rolling. So the families, loads of families are engaging with it. I love that.
I think this week alone 70 kids have all gone on different courses throughout the city, whether it's a Zoom or whether it's at a boxing.
So it's obviously helping with the mental health, with the physical health, and this is what we want to do now moving forward. Is the timetable keeps rolling, but I want to add to it. So it could be anything. Like I've asked people if they want to if they've got a specific skill. I don't know, they could play the guitar or something, and they want to give an hour a month just to show a kid how to play the guitar. Or a DJ could have a DJ or something.
J-Mac, get him involved there.
There you go.
They won't learn much from me.
But no, what I mean? It's just basically just anybody's got a talent in this city, and this city's unique, and a lot of the kids sometimes don't get the chance to do something, to try something new. And we could have, the next Avicii on our hands, Jay, once you're
do you know what though? I remember during, just before lockdown, one of my mates, she was involved with like an outreach group for elderly people, and she just used to go around every Wednesday afternoon for 2 hours and just read books together, like that stuff like that.
That's an hour for that.
I've even said,
that's lovely. That's what you just got.
And I've even said the same thing. I'm going to start getting like when it's all obviously when it's all this is over. I want to get like the elderly in to sort of tell stories to the kids about when they were young, and so that they're making that connection. And we've done it in the past, haven't we, where we've had professionals go into schools and talk to the schools about what their job role is and stuff like that. And it's just all about just everyone just doing something, just connecting and making them connections.
Definitely, like we were saying before as well, like we're in this generation where like you can be inspired because you've got stuff on your phone to see, so you can see someone doing X, Y and Z, and the more people you meet, the more you think, oh, I don't have to just do what my mates are doing, going and fighting and selling drugs or whatever, like, oh well, I can do this as an opportunity. Or,
exactly, it's a role model being
that's it,
I mean, even some of the schools, we've been into some of the schools, our hub used to be in Anfield, so we've got a good connection with all the schools there, so we go in and talk to them, and literally the kids are just like,
we're in assembly and they're like that,
and next minute, like, we were getting phone calls from the teachers saying, oh my god, the kids have come to us and said they're going to sell their toys to buy toys for kids who haven't got the same amount of money and stuff, and it's getting it in, it's even one of the schools had it in the curriculum, didn't they?
Yeah, they started putting it in the curriculums now as well.
So
that's great.
So that's one of the things that I've done. I've the last few years, me sort of calling's been to sort of go down the route of I didn't even have an idea how I was going to do it. No, like sort of teaching, talking and stuff like that. And it's, as I want to inspire the kids, that's a massive thing to get to speak to them and that. And I was working for a company in the health and social care, and they put me through my teaching qualifications and stuff like that. And I started doing a bit of teaching for them, so I'm getting the experience. Yeah. Now I've been putting together my own little courses, so I'm going to start running little workshops and things, and really go in depth about responsibility and what it means, and kindness and the power of it and unity. And I really want to get across to as many, start running groups and stuff, and it just starts to inspire people to realise that inside everyone's the same. I'm no different than anybody else. It's a lot of it's just up there. Do you know how you're thinking and how you're feeling?
And you don't ever like them basic concepts of like kindness, empathy, compassion. Like you don't get taught them in school.
Well, you do, but they're bringing it in.
But that's what I mean. Yes, they're bringing it in now. But like I found out about all this after
one
school,
of the head teachers from one of the primary schools that he's talking about, we used to be in Anfield, and he just knocked one day, and he just says, it was lovely, come in, Mr. Barnes from All Saints Primary School, and he just said, right, what is it that you do? He says, I love the sign and I just need to know. Yeah. And you know what? We've had a partnership with him now, haven't we, for 4 years, and what a head teacher. And he did say that to us. He said, it's not in the curriculum. And that was like 3 years ago. Now they've started putting it in the curriculum. Yeah, not because of it, but I just think it's becoming a social conscience that
it is.
Everyone's thinking like, before got to start thinking about each other. It's, what is it? We, not me. That's the concept. It's just like, and I think the kids, that's where it's got to start from, hasn't it, in 100%. The schools.
And the thing as well with that is like, if you've got them basic values in a community nailed down, like like kindness, compassion, all that, everything else politically like doesn't matter. In an organisation as well, like in a business, if they've got good values but they don't like the politics, it's fine because they know what they're working towards. And same in a community, if you haven't got like kindness, compassion, it doesn't matter everything else that's going on. It's like politics is there, or like what's going on, kindness, compassion, empathy, values is above it.
Humanity should always come. I've always said it should become before religion, football, sport.
Doesn't it?
I mean, football's a bad one, especially in this city for the divide. It's like it hurts me, when you see everyone
families, and just.
Your best mate's probably a blue, and you're, do you know what I mean?
Let's have a bit of banter. Like banter's fine, but when it comes to like, literally like, so much harm's coming to the city, and people would sooner stay divided over football.
It's mad, isn't it?
Humanity should come before absolutely everything. That's more important than anything. Like,
and I think obviously COVID showed that as well. It does. The divide just goes, doesn't it? When we all need to stick together.
When the footy's not on.
Mind you, yeah, when the footy came back on, it came back.
Exactly,
Made it again.
Yeah. Don't see one blue in your parties, do you? To be fair, a few of our mates go there, don't they? Like, a few of our blue mates come out with us.
Oh, they do, yeah.
Yeah.
But that's what I mean. It's like there's some things are big in like footy or like race. Do you know what I mean? And it's just getting to like all this Black Lives Matter that shows now. It's like that's an ancient, not an ancient thing. Racism's a very modern thing, but like. There's bigger things than race or your age or where you're from. It's an idea in your head.
People, aren't you? Just people.
You're a
it's
human
like
being, yeah.
I don't see colour and I don't see. If you're nice, you're nice. If
Exactly,
you're horrible, you're
yeah,
not.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter where you're from or who
That's
you're
just
supposed
from
to.
that's what people. It's from Indian environment that you've grew up in, and that's what
Yeah,
you've got to
of
get
course.
away from. You've just got to push it in people's
But
faces.
that's where you're
haven't
getting
you?
to, isn't it?
Yeah.
With,
That's where
like,
you've got to just push it in people's faces that, like, no, you shouldn't be thinking
of
like
course.
We're
But you
all the
just get to
same.
that
We
with the
all,
kids.
you know, we all care about our families. We all have the same struggles and the same worries. And why should what colour you are or who
What
you
team you
support
support,
or what size shoe you are or whether you grow your hair long, what difference does it make? Do you know what I mean?
It doesn't. If somebody else grows their hair, for example, it doesn't. I think if something doesn't affect my life directly, I don't care.
But how
I'm
boring
exactly.
would it be if everyone looked the same and had the same
Everyone.
views, the same opinions, had the same skills and qualities? You'd just be like that. Oh, just get me off here.
You're like that anyway. He's
She
waiting
thinks
for
I'm
them
from
to come and
outer
beam him
space.
up.
So the people you've had involved actually within the charity, as well as say like you've had like
Sacho, we've just heard.
Sacho, the people like Jamie Webster, and that you have a lot of people like sort of the likes of Jamie Webster, Sacho giving what they have towards the young people as well. Yeah,
Jay Webster's amazing. Yeah, Sacho wasn't he? He was.
How did that come about?
Sacho.
Well, this was at the very beginning of the charity, so I was. You can tell the story, but I was in work, and obviously Ed Bassett thinking, I think my mum had just started. Oh no, it was before my mum had just started, wasn't it, as well? So I was in work. I knew Kevin was at home because I'd been made redundant. So I'd said to Kev, "Yeah, I'll pay for you not to work for 8 months to get it off the while I still went to
that's
work."
That's amazing, that, by the way, isn't it?
So I went to work one day. I'm just sitting at my desk thinking, right, the charity, and then go on, you tell the story.
I just got an email off a girl called Camellia. It was an email that said, "How can Mama do Sacho help?" So I'm howling, laughing, saying, "Who's this?"
This is when he was like big as
I'm
well.
saying he was playing obviously for Liverpool at the time, and I'm laughing my head off, going, "Who's winding me up?" What are you, mate? So it turned out I typed her name into Google, and she was at it. What do you call them? Like a PA.
PR, wasn't it?
PR
Yeah.
for Sacho. And next minute I just said like, "Oh, we've got a gala night coming up. Can he sign a shirt?" So she said, "That's fine, yeah." So at the time I was doing a little community project, painting a house for PLS, and next minute she phoned up and she said, "He doesn't just want to, he's going to bring you the shirt, but he wants to do an hour's painting." So he came down, next minute like the papers had got onto it, and he ended up doing an hour's painting. He was like painting skirting boards and all that.
That's it. In his full kit.
Yeah. And then
You
you know what? He just turned into be Sean. I mean,
We went up to his house, didn't we?
He invited us up to the house, so we're sitting in his house, like in the garden, and his wife's making us a cup of tea and a cake, and he was dead down to earth.
That's boss.
And then
He even paid for Christmas dinner, didn't he, one day?
Yeah.
Like 600,
And then
£700.
one day we get an email off a French TV. Liverpool were playing in the Champions League. I think it was that Dortmund game, I think it was. And this big French TV, like sports programme, it's like their match of the day or whatever it was over there, got in touch with us to say, "Can we come and interview you and your wife, like, over Sacho?" So we said, "All right." So we were like, "What are we going to do?" Like, so we met them in the Jolly Miller. Goes to Jolly Miller. But then next minute, the lighting and all that wasn't right, so they said, "Is there any chance we can go somewhere else?" So at the time, we were living in West Derby. We said, "Do you want to come down to ours?" So they came down to ours, these two big French TV
cameras and that.
Came out the car. We hadn't tidied up and all that. So she's like, "I feel ashamed." Sitting there in our living room with all the lights on with this French fella off Match of the Day in France. She's tidying up behind us in the back of the shot. But it's boss, because honestly, we could write a book, couldn't we? Some of the. I've got it. That was another one of the stories. A funny story. What happened? That's what we're saying about an hour for others. We write a book. Like, I was at the very start, and me and her were just like, it was like a jigsaw was on the table, didn't know who to go. Someone said to me, "Why don't you phone AIDS Concern and speak to them about linking up and that?" So I was phoned age concern, and at the time, no, I wasn't noting anything down in my diary.
And this is Kev, who's never worked really in an office or anything.
I'd always worked on building sites and factories, so I'm phoning age concern with this idea what I had. So they said to me, I just remember them saying, come on Tuesday to the offices and we'll talk about your idea and stuff. So Tuesday comes, goes into age concern in town. Next minute, there was a little old lady, must have been volunteering behind the desk. She said, I said, Kevin Morland and Alfred Udders. She said, I haven't got your noted down. She said, who are you meeting? I said, I can't remember. So we had to sit there for 20 minutes. She said, it's all right, I found they're coming down for you in the lift now, you're in the boardroom. And I'm thinking, the boardroom? Takes me up in the lift, goes into this boardroom where they're having like the AGM or whatever. About 40 people with like suits on and all these, and I'm in a pair of jeans like that with this idea. So next minute, the fella asked me who it was. He added me to the register. So he's sitting there, he starts the meeting off and he says, right, well, we've got a new guest here, Kevin Morland from an Alfred Udders, so we let him speak. So I'm just speaking about this idea, burning, I'm sweating cobs like that. They're all like that, taking notes. And I'm thinking, something's not right here, some talking. Next minute I sit down, he said, any questions? So they're all asking me questions. The door squeaks open. This girl's head pops in. She said, is Kevin Morland here? I said, yes. She went, Linda's waiting next door. So it was like that, oh my God. So I went next door and the girl was howling, laughing. But the funny thing was, it got me like experience talking because I had to speak, like do pitches and things like that. And it got me like
a bit straight to the top there, haven't you? Straight to the big man in the boardroom.
Oh my God.
We've ended up with like all the big companies now, haven't we? Jaguar Land Rover, like Bosch. All the big companies are literally not on the door, don't they, for us?
It's because it's a great idea and it's a great concept.
We've had emails from all over the world, haven't we? Africa, Australia, America. How can we get this started here? So that's definitely something.
Even the story about the Norwegians. Tell them about that one.
Oh yeah, the Norwegians came into it when we were in the hub in Anfield. We got a lot of support off the Liverpool Norwegian branches. Like they've been amazing, and they always come over with the check and stuff. So a couple of years ago, they came over on a coach. And so they all pile into the hub and all that, and they done a little. Sorry, did I do the speech first?
Yeah, we done a little.
So we done a little speech. Then next minute, they said, "Oh, Liverpool give us the Beatles. They give us Liverpool Football Club. I'll have to say Everton in case any Blues are watching." And they said, "And now they've given us an hour for others." So I said, "Oh, do you know what?" I said, "Funnily enough, I said I went to the same two schools as John Lennon, like Dovedale and Quarry Bat, and just as I said, we had the radio on in the background. Imagine." Came on the radio. As soon as I said it, just came on the radio. Everyone was like that. Oh my God, what's just happened?
That's bizarre.
We never know. Mr. Lennon might be watching us, mightn't he?
Oh yeah.
That's a belter.
So
Aaron Lennon.
I'm just curious though, did Sacco tell you how he heard about you? Because you said it was at the start where he was not that
I think
big,
it was Camellia. We're still in contact. She's not as PA anymore, but we're still in contact. She's lovely. She's like a massive Liverpool fan as well.
And she was out of the French.
She's out of the French supporters group, and she'd been following us on social media for a while, so she told him about it, and straight away he just said, he says wherever he plays, he'll straight away he'll get in touch with the local community group there.
And he helps someone at home. He helps someone in France, doesn't he?
He's got his own foundation.
But he's from like he's like from like an impoverished background.
He wants to help his new PA Victoria. She said to us at one point, didn't she? He just wants to help everybody. She said, but I had to like rein him in and say no, because you're not going to be structured. So now he just helps wherever he's playing. Whichever city he's playing for, France, Paris, isn't it? And then is it Senegal where he's from?
Senegal,
yeah. Even the night of our first gala, one of our first galas, wasn't it? He was meant to be coming and speaking on the night, and then that was the day, wasn't it? That was the day that he got done for the drugs. So we had this big event in the Titanic Hotel, and obviously you're panicking and that because it was right at the very beginning and stuff. And as we were coming out the house to come on Sky News that he'd been like done for the drugs, we were like, oh my God, he's all speaking tonight.
Wasn't meant to be.
It wasn't meant to be. No.
But yeah, it was said size, wasn't it? What happens anyway? But that's another thing.
Yeah. Sound. What else do we have to go over? That's mad that he's got involved though, like the way he come painting and
Jamie Webster as well.
Jamie Webster. one of our ambassadors is the doctor of Neighbours. Did you know that?
They didn't know what Neighbours is.
I know what Neighbours is.
I remember
The
Neighbours.
Aussie program,
Yeah.
Carly Minogue was on it, weren't she? Was she on Neighbours?
Yeah.
Alan Fletcher, the doctor.
Dr. Kennedy.
Dr. Carl Kennedy.
One of our ambassadors from Australia.
That was a funny thing, wasn't it? We were at the gala event a couple of years ago, and like me mates who've been with me like since I was young and stuff like that, loads of them can't believe how big it's gone and stuff from like an idea.
It was a black tie event, wasn't it? And
you're having a big black tie event, and one of my mates, Jimmy, turned and said, "Kevin, what have you done?" I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "We're sitting here and the doctor of Neighbours is sitting over there."
Everyone was sitting around all with the black tie on. It was big candle lit, wasn't it? There was, I think,
like
good
night,
300 people, didn't we, in there? We had like a brass band and everything. And he was just looking around going, "What have you done?"
I just look at it and I said, I think when my mum was dying and I seen her on a deathbed, and it just made me think a bit of it, and I thought, I don't want to just like get to my deathbed and I've been in factories or I've done when I've got this idea. I thought I want to get to my deathbed and I want to look back and think,
be proud.
I've turned every stone over I could have turned over. I've done everything I can to make the world a better place. I've put my heart and soul into it, you know. It's like I've always said I'll do everything by the right morals. I'll never do anything that's not the right morals. If something gets offered or if something doesn't feel right, I won't go for it just because it's going to do us better. I'd rather live on a park bench than like do something for the wrong reasons, you know.
Yeah, of course.
That's the best way to live that stuff, is especially when you're doing the
charity.
charity.
And I think, to be honest, when you have that sort of way about your doors open for you and things happen, there's been times when we've got down in the past and like you're working so many long hours, 7 days a week, and it's like, you know, you're struggling yourself financially and stuff, and then you're thinking about changing things, and next minute a door will just open and an email will get sent. I mean, there's been a couple of times I've had to go back painting and decorating full time. Once I ended up in hospital with diverticulitis. Second time, my mate picked me up in the pub and dropped me on my head, and it landed on my shoulder. Another time, what happened?
The old lady that fell over.
Oh, there was an old lady when I was working, fell over where I was working. It was like, it's as if when you go off your path, you just start hitting blocks and things start going wrong. When you get on your path, it's like doors just open for you.
Yeah. That's what we felt like with this, wasn't it?
Yeah. It is. It's and what the problem like that we have is that we want to know how to get from A to Z. We want to know how you do it. Like, so a lot of people are staying like a comfort zone, or it's a fear, you know, like, well, I don't know how I'm going to go through that, but it's just about taking little small steps and not even thinking too far ahead, just taking
the first step,
just taking the right step in the right direction, and like then the next step will come to you, then something will come to you, but like I say, we just want to figure it out, how you're going to get, like, if you're going to leave a job, how am I going to get to that stage? If you're hating the job so much, leave, do you know what I mean? And doors will open for you. It's going to be hard. You've got anything in life is hard. It's really, really hard. You're not going to get anything on a plate, but it's worth it in the end if you do it, you know.
Do it the right way as well.
100%, yeah.
Yeah, the right way.
Yeah, which is of course, yeah. The one thing we'll have to go through is what people asked on Instagram.
Oh God!
So there was 2 questions that got the 2 big ones here. You've pretty much covered everything. One of them was, is this something all cities could do, or do you think it's uniquely Scouse because of how sound we are?
Well, we went for a funding bid one time, didn't we? And we got unit from about, God, there was thousands, wasn't it? It was in York, and that was one of the questions that the lady asked us when we went to meet her. Do you think it is just like a Liverpool thing?
Yeah.
We believe it's not, and we can't believe that it is. We know we know that Scousers are really kind and stuff, but I do believe there is a conscience that's waking up throughout the world, and I do believe that we always wanted to take it further afield. We just needed to get our model correct in the first place before we can outbranch it, if that makes sense.
Course,
and I think what's happened over the last few months, it's woke people up all over the world. People are getting are waking up to the fact that we need to look out for each other. We're a community, and I think, whereas like a few months ago, if you'd have mentioned it to someone like in another part of the world, another part of the country, they might not have got it. But I think now people just get it, what you needed. At the end of the day, you know, when this happened, who was needed the most? Was it the bankers? Was it the who was it? Was it the footy players? It was the shop workers,
charities,
it was the people, normal people on the street who you know, when the world's on the verge of meltdown, it's the normal people who get who are needed more than anyone.
The models backwards,
and listen, that needs to be remembered. Everyone's got to remember that. We're just as important, if not more, than anybody.
Exactly, yeah.
Belter. What else did we go through on Instagram? The footy memories.
Football memories, yeah.
So, for a bit of context for the viewers, your family in particular, big Reds.
Not as big as mine, no.
No, they are. Nah, no, they're just the same.
I can't vouch for that, but I can vouch that.
To be honest, when I first met Kevin, his dad hasn't missed a game since 19 what?
50 odds. I'll have to mention my Uncle John as well.
And his Uncle John, the two of them.
That's Anson's granddad.
Okay, yeah. But then when he come and we met my family, didn't you? We were watching Liverpool, Real Madrid when we got through with Brendan Rodgers, and we were awful, weren't we? So you can imagine the language in my house.
Yeah.
And he said, he was like, oh my God, I've never seen anyone like this.
If you move sheet and the goal goes in against it, it's your fault. You'll get blamed for losing trophies and everything if you move sheet.
That is very true. Like, it's your Daniel as well, especially. You can see that's been filtered down to him,
yeah.
Aggressive.
He's an aggressive. But in terms of memories, what we'll do, we'll go through with the Insta, what people said, and then we'll go around and say ours. For mine, yous were there for one of them. Like, I know, yeah.
Good.
So, the lovely cushion there for Gerrard, which I think most people can agree.
So far.
Yeah. Barca at home last season, that was your Daniel. Tony Abbott's free kick and his testimonial. Gary Mack's derby goal in 0-1.
Oh, yeah.
Absolute scenes. Corner taken quickly. Oh, what a moment that was.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's up there. That was one of my best footy memories.
Yeah.
But then, where are we? Mane 90+4 was up there.
Yeah.
And that was it, against Everton. Mine was... One of them was the Champions League final. And you just come back off holiday and you were just buzzing, obviously. And you just landed and come straight to your dad's house, And then... My best footy memory so far was after on the Thursday when we weren't even playing, but then the Pierhead as well, and we come back to yours, and that night,
was a good night.
That whole 2 days, 48 hours, I was just like, whoa.
It was an adrenaline, wasn't it?
Everyone was so happy, weren't they? And it was just, it was such a buzz.
Yeah. I mean, how old was you in 2005?
9.
Yeah, so
that's the big one for me.
Yeah.
Because it's like, we had made 2001 with Owen. The Owen finals, they called it, was my first memory, but between then and we won like a Worthington Cup or something, didn't we? That was the first big one we seen.
I love 2005 for being with my family and that, but being with your mates, you're going to be your mates for life when you're 50 talking about that, I knew that was something special.
This was really special at this point, wasn't it? But 2005, God, I think
there's so many, isn't there?
Yeah.
I mean,
imagine you got a look, Kev.
I was going in 1981. My dad started taking me because my mum couldn't handle me, so I was like 5, 6 when I started going. And I remember beating Tottenham. My first time I seen us win the league, 1982. We beat Tottenham at Anfield. I was on the cop, absolutely jam-packed, like in my vest, being sick and everything. And that was a good one. One of my favourites. Obviously, all of them you've mentioned but everyone's got them. One of my favourites. We played Everton in 1987 at Anfield near the end of the season. Everton had virtually won the league, but they could have won the league at Anfield. And it was Ian Rush's last derby game at Anfield. But the ground was electric. You'd think we'd be on a downer because Everton were going to win the league, but the ground was electric. And we just didn't want them to win the league at Anfield. And it was Rush's last derby. So Everton scored a free kick at the cop end, Kevin Sheedy. And he come running to the cop doing that. And he came right up to where I was stood. And I remember crying and everything, but the crowd was just behind Liverpool. I think McMahon scored to equalise before half time. Next minute was rocking. In the second half, at the cop end, in his last derby game before he went to Juventus, Rush got 2. And I've never heard a noise like it. I swear to God, it was like, always remember the fella behind me was singing You Never Walk Alone. And his voice turned to like electricity. His voice just like had this big mad buzz to his voice. It was like that. Oh wow!
I think obviously everything that we've all mentioned and stuff, but I do agree with Jack. This like when we done that. I mean,
and we didn't even play, did we, on that day?
No, and I think we obviously imagine if we would have been like it would have been like electric. It was electric anyway.
Yeah.
We made it electric because we had to do something to meet to thing. You know,
I loved sorry, I've just cut you off.
Yeah, it was too. But I think the best game that I've ever gone to is the City game. last
in
year
the Champions
in the
League.
Champions League when we beat them. Was it 3-0?
3-0.
I just
We
think
were on
the
fire,
atmosphere was just, oh my God. I think you got sick after that, didn't you? For
Oh
about a
God,
year.
I just lost every bit of air from my lungs singing.
But yeah, it was great.
I loved 2001 as well when we beat Arsenal in the FA Cup.
Yeah,
And I
that
remember
was good.
coming back from Arsenal, from Cardiff, just on an absolute high because we'd beat Arsenal in the FA Cup. I'd like the Sunday just reading the papers. Then Monday travel to Germany for the UEFA Cup final. Just had a boss like
Alvarez,
few
was it?
days.
Yeah.
Alvarez, yeah.
5-4 it was.
5-4.
I think we're
remember
lucky,
that,
aren't we? We've had so many. Do you know what I
So,
mean?
exactly, yeah. It's a blessing, innit,
So
to
many.
have that many memories, definitely. But that I just knew it when we were watching the game on the Thursday. I was actually, we were all out and we were like, we'll just go home. And then we went home for the City-Chelsea game.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, we went home for it just because Daniel was like, I'm not having a party, me, if we win. I was like, yeah, you are. If you get beat, you're having a party. Went home, watched it in ours, and then we all just got the ground then.
Yeah.
You know, and then...
He's like, go and bring your decks.
Yeah, go get your decks, come to ours.
Oh, so did you have a party
So
on
then we
that
did,
night?
yeah, on the Thursday, and then we went home and then went to Pierhead, and then Saturday was the big one, and that's where we seen you on the Friday.
Friday.
It felt like a Saturday, felt like
Yeah.
a month of Saturdays. But that Friday, that was just, but it's boss, because like, would you with people like you talking about your footy memories, and then there's kids there, and it's just like, that's what it's about, innit? It's just
yeah.
like,
I mean, you feel robbed as well at the same time because
the way it happens.
Yeah.
It's the most
Yeah,
Liverpool way to win a
okay.
league, though, isn't it?
yeah,
That's what I
but
think.
we had to do something, and
Yeah.
we still made it special.
It's got an asterisk, hasn't it, apparently? Doesn't change a thing.
No, it doesn't.
But yeah, going on to the next thing we want to discuss was album of the week.
Yeah, so did you listen to the album? Seen the
Yeah,
film?
it's really good, yeah.
Yeah, seen the film?
To be honest, I have seen the film and I never got onto how good the soundtrack was.
Oh, it's amazing,
Yeah,
isn't it?
unbelievable.
I'm the same. I didn't realise that
yeah.
at all, and I
Yeah.
listened to it back and went, whoa.
I did, because I remember watching, you know, when they're running away and that tune's on, and I was like, what's this tune? So Googled it, found the soundtrack.
The
and I was
Baseball
like,
Fury one, is it?
The Baseball Fury one.
Mine's
Such a tune.
Havana. Love the Havana.
Oh,
In Havana.
yeah.
Yeah, sick that.
It's
Echoes in my mind for me. Get onto that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sick.
It's good because the actual soundtrack coming out, they got some fella involved. I've got it written down here. His name is Barry Vauzon, and he created the soundtrack. He was good mates with the director and the producer of the film.
Okay.
So he got him involved in that, and he started doing a few tunes, and then the biggest sort of person involved is Joe Walsh, who was in the Eagles. So he said, do you want to fancy getting involved? And he's like, oh yeah, we'll see what we can do. So apparently it was just like a little song for and it went really big. So in the end, the Eagles released it on the album.
Yeah, it's usually the way, isn't it? I mean, I'll bring my Dirty Dancing. That happened to Dirty Dancing.
Yeah.
Little
budget film,
Yeah,
and it
little
became one of
budget
the
film,
biggest
and it
for
goes
forever,
huge.
Jay was
so,
saying
yeah.
to me as well before that, like the film itself, like it was about the reason it's a cult classic is because it was about gangs in the 70s in New York, which was a big like a pandemic in itself. Gangs over there,
Yeah.
wasn't it like 5-1? They could outnumber police.
Well, as he said,
Really?
at first he said like a lot of people want to get banned because what it was promoting is quite a violent film, and the slogan was like we could outnumber police
Keep
like
going
5-1
strong, yeah.
as
Oh, so they were giving a
100,000
message.
squad.
Yeah.
That was the
Giving a
message.
message,
You know what I mean? But in the actual film, a lot of gangs, real gangs, were involved. They got people in as extras and stuff like that.
Oh, really? Yeah.
And they had gangs protecting the film crew, like vans
Because they
and
were
that.
in them area.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for $500 a day, they pay the gangs so other gangs wouldn't try and get involved. They
Oh
had to
my
pay
God.
gangs off to make a gang
I
film.
need to watch
Wow.
this because I
It's-
love New York
It's
anyway. I love
unbelievable, the
everything
film.
about
It's like
all.
It is
it's
amazing.
just one
It's a
night
cult.
where they're trying to get home, and it's just a story.
Straight to Coney
Oh,
Island.
is it?
isn't it?
Yeah.
It's
Is
just
there
one
a
night.
love story for two?
No, I don't mind.
There is a little bit.
There is a
There is
little bit of a
yeah.
love
How
story,
is the as long as there's a
It's
bit
all
of-
about
yeah.
punching each other, really.
Yeah.
Though.
No, it's so
I
like-
just closed my eyes at that time.
Yeah,
But,
it's
like,
so like what's the word? Like it's so niche. There's no other film like it. You
Yeah,
couldn't
you'll
explain
never
what
see
it
a
is.
film like it again.
It's been brilliant. Isn't it?
I'll have
Really.
to watch it.
Oh, it's really, really good. And for album of the week for yourself, have you thought of anything for yourself to come forward to next
The
week?
Dirty Dancing soundtrack.
Well, oh yeah, go on. Pretty Woman soundtrack as well.
I was torn between London Calling by The Clash,
Yes.
but I've gone for Urban Hymns by The Verve.
Oh, yeah?
I love
Okay,
The Verve. I went to see them in Wigan, one of my best like little memories. When you know, one night they played in Haygall, and we had a fiver between us and went down there. Just that best boss night, like it was brilliant. So I'll go for Urban Hymns.
Urban Hymns by The Verve. Have you
Yeah.
ever listened to it?
You know what? I do like The Verve, but I haven't listened to them loads and loads.
Yeah,
so
I've
I think
listened to the
I'll
odd tune. Yeah.
I just do an album of the week, stuff like this. Like,
You
for me
get
to now listen to it, I'm
it.
going, you know what? I wouldn't automatically put like that soundtrack on the album. Do you know what I mean? So
do you know what's about
great,
it
like
though?
that
Speaking of albums, the album behind there, the Cheap Thrills one, Vu de Monde, Anton, who's the drummer in the Cheap Thrills, your cousin.
Yeah, he's my cousin, Anton.
Some link that
he's actually going to be doing drumming for an hour for us,
is he,
teaching kids. Yeah,
belter.
So we'll get hopefully all the lads will get involved.
Yeah. And anyone who's out there who's got a skill or anything,
exactly, get in touch, have a look at the website.
Anyone who can DJ better than him, get involved. But anything, yeah. So that's what would you, if you was to give, like, speak to a viewer, an audience, and say, so, and how can people, like, because we asked Paper Cup, they said donations, all that. What's your thing you seek from people? Just donating their time and services, yeah?
Yeah, just go to what...
The best thing to me is if somebody gets in touch and they say, look, I'm like... whatever it is, I don't know, but I like the ideas to come from people. I'm a musician, I can give you like 2 hours a month, I've got a venue there, that's perfect. Or I'm a yoga teacher, I've got a studio, I'm willing to give you a group every month. I'm a whatever creative writer, whatever it is,
whatever skill anybody's got.
There's a form on your website, isn't there, where you can fill out what you do and what you can don't, like an availability and all that. So we'll put the website in there.
Because like I say, moving forward, it'll be the timetable, and obviously the families and the people who are engaging the most, they'll be top of the list for the refurbishments and the tickets and everything else. And it's about
obviously
building and inspiring people and obviously helping the most vulnerable.
Because we've got they've got what it is. We don't want to just be like just give.
Sometimes
they've got to realise the gratitude as well. So when I think that's like a massive thing.
And even the people who are giving things to, they can give something to someone else, can't they?
Yeah, of course. It's like pay it forwards, isn't it? It's just like
and even if people want to do a bit of fundraising for us, we've had to go back on the events now, haven't we, for a little bit?
Everything's
we're always after people. No, we're grassroots. We don't on a shoestring like everybody. You know, it's and we're always after people fundraising for us and stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely.
We'll get the link in the bio. But this bit. This is what you've seen us preparing something.
So what we've done is for a bit of fun is 5 questions at the end. So what we're basically going to do, we're going to have 5 questions and I want you to answer it because you are a couple as well working together.
So it's
the challenge with that. So it's basically like a Mr. and Mrs. So if I ask you the question,
oh no,
who's more likely, Jill or Kev?
Who's more likely this, that and the other? So because obviously you do work together, but you're a couple as well. So that comes with its own challenges.
And we got to just
she's got an answer with the answer to this question, yeah. So
we're trying to stir the ladle. That's all we're trying to do.
We'll be fighting on the way home.
Oh yeah. So question number 1, and you can't be changing because you're on camera here. So question number 1: who is most likely to forget a meeting?
Anything to do with forgetting, I'll just leave it there.
So question number 2: who's more likely to make you late in the morning?
Question number 3: who is most likely to bring the charity home with them and not switch off from it?
That'd be the both of us.
Yeah, I would say that.
That's like 3-3 now.
We sit on holiday on the beach.
On the laptop.
Question number 4: who is more likely to stay up later at a famous Watkins family party?
Definitely. Any party.
Now question number 5: there's going to be murder after this one. Who's the bigger red?
Oh,
definitely.
It's half. Come on, you've been to
I reckon you are now, because I've
behave.
I'm like a little bit.
I've retired.
I've seen us do it all now.
I'll behave. No, yeah, he's obviously travelled with them and gone to games. I've always loved them and stuff. Just haven't gone to match.
Both as big as each other.
Both huge.
Oh, I love that.
Did you like it?
I loved it, yeah.
There's one more thing to go anyway.
Oh, one more.
Who's the funnier one? Kev? Kev. You got to read the dad joke.
Oh, come on. What do we do? Do we have to choose one?
Because you're a dad yourself anyway, aren't you? So you shouldn't even need the book. Read it first. If it's not that good, skip.
Don't do that.
I want to know what that one is now, mate.
Funny enough, this is a blank book. So
he's just actually thinking.
Go on, this'll do this one. Someone threw a bottle of omega-3 capsules at me. Luckily, my injuries are only superficial oil. She didn't get it.
Right, on that note, thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you for
the amazing work you do.
As we say, so what we learned today, we've learned that you're absolutely amazing what he's doing, everything like that, and what other people can do to get involved with it. And
it's cool to be kind.
It's cool to be kind.
It's the way forward. Unity is the way. Together we're strong.
Together we are strong.
I love that slogan, by the way. It's great, isn't it?
Everyone's using it now.
boss.
And rightly
thanks.
so.
Thank you, lads, and
No,
well
thanks
done.
for coming on.
Yeah,
Thank
well
you
done.
very
What
much.
you're doing, boss.
Yay.